me to Yorkshire Yarn Fest. So we've just arrived at Sanborn Hall, ready to go into Yorkshire Yarn Fest. But first, I just wanted to let you know what we're going to be shopping for in this video, because we're on the hunt for some specific yarn. So recently I started a scrappy granny square blanket. So these are some solid granny squares. I'll try and show you one. So these are some solid granny squares that I'm using my hand-dyed sock yarn stash up with. And what I've done is I've strung all, I think there's 15 colours here, all 15 colours from my stash. I've strung them all on a piece of yarn so that I can use them as colour references, because what I'd like to do is find a few extra colours to add into my stash yarn to balance out the colour palette that I've gone for. So I've gone for kind of autumnal but a little bit 50s, 60s feel. We've got greens, teals and some pinks and some like golden yellowy browns. So what I think I want to find today specifically is ideally some more light pinks, because I've only got one light pink and pink is my favourite colour. So we need some more pink yarn, and also maybe a pale green. But we're going to see what's there and just use these squares, hold them up to yarns that I find, and see if I can find some colours that I'm interested in. We're also I'm just gonna take you around. We will have a look to see around all of the stalls. I'll show you the food carts, we'll chat to some people, and maybe have a look at some of the spinning and weaving demonstrations. So yeah, let's go inside and start looking around Yorkshire Yarn Fest. So once we checked in with our tickets, we got given this map. So there are 40 vendors at Yorkshire Yarn Festival in 2025, spread across 4 rooms, 3 smaller rooms, and then most of the vendors are in the sports hall. So Yorkshire Yarn Fest is held at Sanborn Hall, which is a beautiful hotel that's also a wedding venue and has a golf course. It's a really beautiful, accessible venue, and some of the rooms the festival are in are actually some of the rooms where they hold weddings, such as the first room we visited, which was the Great Hall. The Great Hall had a socialisation area as well as a couple of stools. We were planning on just walking through the Great Hall to get to the next room to find my favourite yarn dyer, but I got a little bit distracted by a happy crow who had some beautiful bright hand-dyed yarn on display. I didn't buy anything from them, but it was a great way to kick off Yorkshire Yarn Fest. So we then headed across to the Sanderson room in hunt of my favourite yarn dyer, Beehive Yarns. I've already used a lot of her yarns in my blanket, so I thought I'd have a look to see if there are any more that would be suitable. She did have some super beautiful colours, but every one that I pulled down seemed to be similar to colours I already had in my blanket. So I didn't end up buying anything from Beehive Yarns on day 1, but I did come back on day 2 because something else caught my eye that I'll show you later in the video. So after checking out Beehive Yarns and catching up with Beth, I headed over to Rainbow Heirloom, who I've never bought from before, but I have seen at festivals previously. And I was really taken by this dark red Aran weight yarn that was at the bottom of her wall of colourful yarn. And it's just like the perfect burgundy red for me. So I did end up buying that. I then checked out the rest of her wall of yarn to see if there were any suitable for my blanket. And I absolutely fell in love with this amber golden yellow. It's just so beautiful and very me. You can see it's kind of similar to the shawl that I'm wearing as well. It works really well with the other golden browns in my blanket. But if I choose not to use it in my blanket, I will definitely be using this yarn for another project because it really was beautiful. Before I made my purchases from Rainbow Heirloom, I did have a little rummage in their mini skeins as well. They had loads and loads of different colours. Didn't end up getting any mini skeins, however. So before we head to the next room, I just want to talk a little bit about accessibility. So the main reason why Yorkshire Yarn Fest is my favourite yarn festival is because I am an ambulatory wheelchair user, in that I can stand and walk, but I need a wheelchair for longer distances. And honestly, this is one of the most accessible places I've ever been. You can tell that Sophie puts a lot of effort into making sure the yarn festival is accessible to all. Next up, we headed to the Settle Bar and found Fruitful Fusion. I discovered Fruitful Fusion 2 Yorkshire Yarn Festivals ago, the last time she vended at YYF, and I absolutely fell in love with her colour palette and the colours that she chooses to pair together in her speckles and her variegated yarns. Absolutely beautiful. Such a talented dyer. And I fell absolutely head over heels in love with one of her colours that I'll show you later. I had a good rummage through all of her yarn trying to find ones that would be suitable for my blanket, as well as got tempted by some mini skeins. But I actually ended up falling in love with one of her colours called Summer Dreams, and it was just the perfect pink to pair with the other pinks already used in my blanket. I very nearly bought a sweater's quantity of this yarn though. She had the most beautiful sample knitted up with a strand of her sock yarn and a strand of mohair, and she had knitted up the ranunculus pattern, and oh my goodness, I'll show you it in a minute. It was so beautiful. I'm so tempted even now to just give her a message and see if I can buy this sweater's quantity of yarn. But I ended up buying a different sweater's quantity actually. So yeah, that was a Fruitful Fusion. And once I had made my purchases, because I didn't just buy one skein of yarn from her, I headed over to Botanical Yarn to check out her pinks as well, because honestly, Botanical Yarn's pinks are just always so beautiful. Everything from soft dusty pinks to deep plummy pinks to bright hot pinks. She really is great with pinks, so I thought I'd be able to find a pink for my blanket, but all the ones I pulled out were a little similar to ones I already had in my blanket. But I was so tempted by some of these other colours. However, I did hold back because I'm specifically on a mission and I have a bit of a budget. I ended up blowing my budget, but I was trying not to buy anything that I wasn't going to directly be using in my blanket. She also had some beautiful samples knitted up, including a sample of the Yorkshire blanket, which was the crochet along blanket I designed for YYF in 2024. So it was so lovely to see her sample of that blanket again. I had a really good rummage in her project bags and her minis as well. I was really tempted by the Liberty minis set because the colour palette is so beautiful, but I already have 2 of her mini sets from last year that I still haven't used, so I was very good and had good self-control and didn't buy them even though I was tempted. So Sophie, the dyer behind Botanical Yarn, is actually the organiser of YYF, and she agreed to let me ask her a few questions. So this is Sophie, the organiser of Yorkshire Yarn Fest. So do you want to tell us a bit about Yorkshire Yarn Fest?
Yeah, hi everyone. So very excited that you're here. It's been a really nice journey doing Yorkshire Yarn Fest. I first started in 2019 in a really cold barn in the middle of nowhere, and it was freezing. But now we're at this lovely wedding venue in the middle of nowhere again, but a bit more accessible.
Yeah.
But it's really nice. We've got a curation of different vendors, about 40 people, different exhibitors, and lots of different crafts, weaving, crochet, knitting. It's so nice. And it's so nice to see everyone come together, and like there's lots of space to sit and craft and have a cup of tea.
Good vibes all round.
Yeah, always good vibes, yeah.
I really love how like the range of vendors that you have, like compared to some other shows, like you said, you have like weaving and things like that. So do you specifically find those vendors, or do you let them find you? Do you approach people? How do you do it?
No, so I do like an application form, and lots of people apply. I'm very grateful that lots of different, and it is quite hard to curate, you know, because you want to get varied, so you want different crafts. Like there's Lindsay who does lovely jewellery, and Claire does stitch markers, so it's a really nice mix of, and like there's a lady that does felt making, and I mean it's really hard. I'd love to have everyone, but sometimes you have to say, right, this is how big the room is, we've got to restrict it to, it's lovely to change it up each year as well and have different people. And we've scheduled dates for next year already, which is good.
When is it next year?
I think 14th and 15th of November.
Awesome.
Yes.
I will put it in my calendar, 100%.
Very excited.
And last question. So the reason why Yorkshire Yarn Fest is my favourite festival is the accessibility, with me being in a wheelchair. So do you want to tell the audience a little bit about accessibility here?
It is so important. It's so important for everyone to feel welcome and to feel able to move around, whether it's if you're anything, you know, it's making me all like well up, because I'd hate a barrier for people to come to a craft festival, and you want everyone to come and feel welcome and feel able to move around in the right place. And Like I said, we've tried this way with the new door through here, and so it's easier for people to move around.
100% is, like, it's so accessible compared to some other yarn festivals that I've been to that are in like barns. They can be really inaccessible, so yeah, I do really appreciate, you can tell that it means a lot to you when we're here and how much space there is between stalls and the accessible hour as well.
Yes,
so yeah, we do appreciate you. Well, thank you so much.
No, thank you for coming.
Once we'd finished in the settle bar, we headed across this courtyard into the sports hall, which is where most of the vendors for YYF this year were based. On day one, I was specifically looking for some hand-dyed yarn for my blanket, so I did end up skipping quite a few stalls on day one, but don't worry because I'll come back on day two and show you some stalls that aren't just yarn and some of the other vendors as well. There were all sorts of things from commercial yarn as well as hand-dyed yarn. There was some spinning fibre, there was the spinning, weaving and dyeing guild, there was some felt making, there was so much going on, and I'm so happy that I managed to film quite a lot of it with help from my brother to show you. So in the sports hall, the first vendor I knew that I needed to check out was Ducky Darlings, another one of my favourite dyers. I love, love, love their colours. They really have a bit of a knack for some of those autumnal colours that I love so much. And I did end up buying some yarn from them for my blanket. So there was so much choice at the Ducky Darling stand, and I was really drawn to these kind of pinks and yellows and golden browns because I felt that my blanket needed more pink in it. I did end up buying 2 skeins of yarn from Ducky Darlings, and the one you're seeing here is one that I did buy because it has a few different colours from the blanket in a variegated yarn. And I haven't actually used that many variegated yarns in my blanket so far. I also ended up getting this really beautiful like pale pink that's called seashell pink because I felt like it really worked with my other colours. Sorry about my drink that you can see in that shot there. It was on my lap while I was deciding on these colours. I did test a few other colours out. I really loved this one. I think this one was called something like Autumn Bliss, something like that. It was really lovely. One of the other things that I love about YYF is the range of crafts and how much representation crochet has. So next to Ducky Darlings was the crochet chain, and she is a crochet designer who also sells kits for her patterns. She had all sorts of things on her stall, from those cute Christmas amigurumi and these beautiful tapestry crochet baubles. I'm assuming it's tapestry crochet. It looks like tapestry crochet to me. It's super pretty for this time of year. She also had some other kits and patterns on offer as well, including this beautiful ripple hoodie, which could be in my future. She also had lots of shawls on display, and how can you not be inspired to crochet a shawl after seeing that wall of shawls? As well as kits and her samples, she also had some paper patterns on sale, so I would definitely check her out if any of this has caught your eye. She also had some amazing crochet blankets. I mean, look at this one, and this one is rainbow granny squares. Seriously, if you like crochet, go and check out the crochet chain for some beautiful, beautiful patterns. The number of techniques in this blanket that's being used, you will definitely learn something new following that pattern. Then we went browsing, and this crochet blanket at Bow Fiddle Yarns also caught my eye and drew me in. I then got a little bit roped into looking at their yarn. I've not seen them vend at a festival before, and I've not bought from them online, but they had some beautiful, beautiful bright colours, almost like a wall of rainbow yarn. Absolutely love it. I felt like I was in heaven. And I did end up buying some yarn from Bow Fiddle Yarns, but I'll leave that as a surprise until I do my yarn haul at the very end of this video. I then browsed around a few other dyers around the sports hall, specifically trying to find some more yarn for my blanket. Here is All Wool, the Ends Wool, who I have seen and bought from previously. Next up, we've got Eden Cottage Yarns, who had some really beautiful soft colours. I can imagine like a stripy jumper or something in these beautiful soft colours. of hers. I was so tempted by some of this if I hadn't just bought a sweater's quantity of yarn. She also had some granny squares up and I couldn't resist taking some footage, as well as some beautiful yarnlings. So she sells these little 5 gram balls of yarn that you can get and calls them yarnlings, and I do actually have some from seeing her at YYF previously. I really loved the range of bases that she had as well. It wasn't just like sock yarn, so that was great. Next up we have Mothy and the Squid, who had the most stunning speckled yarn, like a wall of speckles. Speckled yarn is like my favorite kind of hand-dyed yarn. I love like other kinds as well, but speckles, there's just something about crocheting and knitting with it and seeing how those speckles work up. It just brings me so much joy. I really loved that purple colour there. I've been quite drawn to purples recently, so I'm not surprised I beelined in for that. She also had some really cute stitch marker sets as well. So as well as hand-dyed yarn, there were also some commercial yarn as well from some smaller businesses, and this is some West Yorkshire spinners yarn, and I really fell in love with this pink colour, so I took a little shot of the label in case I want to come back and get some later. It's my favourite shade of pink. I also found this one, which was surprisingly soft. I don't know why, I just thought from the colours it was going to be like a rough yarn. It wasn't, it was soft. I also discovered some other brands of yarn I've not seen previously. I was excited to see some Isaga yarn because I've seen a lot of people on podcasts use Isaga yarns for colour work and things like that. So I would be tempted to do this, but it is quite a rustic yarn. I'm not sure whether I would be able to have it against my skin, as my skin is quite sensitive. This sea green colour though, oh, so beautiful. And finally, on day one, our last stop was Tyne and Floyd, who had not only yarn but also some fibre as well. And I've bought some fibre from her when I went to Spring Interval in March, and she very kindly let us film her spinning. I'm just so in awe of how even her yarn was. As a spinner who's only been spinning for a year, I hope one day that I can spin as well as she did. Seriously beautiful yarn she's got on her bobbin there, and I'm really excited to see if she posts that once it's all plied up. So it's now 4 o'clock and the festival is finished for the day. I didn't quite get round all of the stalls because we did get here at about lunchtime today, but I've got a weekend ticket, so we'll be back tomorrow. I have bought, this is stuffed with yarn, and there's also yarn in my bag as well, so I've bought quite a lot of yarn. I've got some beautiful colours for my blanket, and I will do a bit of a yarn haul once we come back tomorrow and film tomorrow as well. So yeah, I will see you tomorrow for day 2. So we're back for day 2 of YYF, and yesterday was so much fun. We were here for a couple of hours, we looked around, and I managed to find the yarn I needed to finish off that blanket. The only thing I didn't find, which I would think would set the blanket off beautifully, is like a pale duck egg colour. So I'm going to keep my eye out for that today, but there's nothing else I'm particularly after today. So today is less about shopping and more about going to those stalls that I missed. So yesterday, because I was on a mission about the blanket yarn and I didn't know if I would be well enough to come for a second day, I kind of beelined for my favourite dyers or yarn that I think would be suitable for the blanket, and literally specifically like, I'm going in this room and I want to see this dyer, and then we're going to leave the room and move on to the next room. Like, I was on a mission yesterday. So today I'm going to take my time a bit more, go to the stalls that I missed, kind of maybe the ones that aren't yarn dyers or doing something interesting like weaving. So I think that could be fun. We'll just see what we can find. I'm not feeling the best today. Yesterday took it out of me quite a bit. I don't usually do things 2 days in a row with my health problems. I usually try to have at least one rest day in between, if not several rest days. So I don't know how long I'm going to last, but I've bought a weekend ticket, so I want to make the most of it, and I filled myself up on caffeine. It's not the best thing for me to do with my health problem, is to power through like I'm doing today. But I've got a weekend ticket and I didn't see everything I wanted to see yesterday. So I don't have anything else planned for the next week. So if I need to spend a week in bed to recover, I will. So yeah, let's go see what we can find on day 2 at YYF. I realised I forgot to say in that intro, I'm specifically going to find some crochet for you today as well. Plenty of crochet inspiration coming up. So at the ticket booth, you can also buy some Yorkshire Yarn Fest merch, including these cute little bags, which would be great project bags. I actually have like a badge and some stickers in a bag from last year, so I didn't get any this year. So first up, we headed back upstairs. We're going to do the rooms in the same order as yesterday, starting in the Great Hall and with pineapple fibre art, which was such a unique stall. So they offer crochet mandalas, so the kits to make them yourself and the patterns. This holly one was sold out, not surprised given we're in November. I also thought this tree was really, really unique. So as well as the kits, they also do sell the patterns separately. I would really love to make one of these, but I think I would get the pattern, so I popped up the price list here for you, and I have tagged them below if you want to go and check them out. And then I also spotted this massive crocheted mandala that they'd put up on the beautiful beams. And yeah, it was really, really inspiring. I'd love to make a mandala. Next up, we headed over to the Sanderson room again. So we were here yesterday. This was the first place that I bought yarn yesterday. But I wanted to get in and see all of the stalls that I missed in this room because there were some really interesting ones. First up, I went to Quack Yarn, who I've seen at lots of other festivals. She has beautiful darker colours as well as some lovely pooling yarn, and she always has such a really good range of bases, including a merino bamboo blend, which is really interesting, and I definitely want to try crocheting with that at some point. I was quite tempted by this Christmas sock set as well, but I have so many like sock sets waiting to be knitted, I did hold back. I did end up, however, buying some needle stoppers from her. I actually went for these cute carrot ones in the end. I do have some needle stoppers, but they're quite big and fall off my needles, so hopefully these ones won't. I then headed back to Beehive Yarns just to do a double check that none of the colours were suitable for my blanket. I did actually end up getting something else from Beehive Yarns. I told myself I wasn't going to be buying any mini skeins at YYF this year, but I ended up buying some mini skeins. I also checked out some of her beautiful samples, and as I was looking through them, a lady was like, "Oh, don't miss this one," and it was actually she was the one that had knitted it up for Beehive Yarn, so she was the sample maker, so that was really lovely to see, and she was just so happy and giddy about her, you can see her here showing me what she'd knitted, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful pattern. I'm not sure my colourwork skills are good enough for that. So yeah, this is the mini skein set that I ended up buying from Beehive Yarns. I picked it up on day 1 and then put it back, and it was still there on day 2, so I decided to get it, even though yeah, I wasn't meant to be buying mini skeins. Next up, we checked out the other stalls in the room which weren't yarn. So this was a lady who did lots and lots of felt and hand-dyed goods, and there was such a range of things that she was selling, so colourful and beautiful, and I think some of this my mum would love. I kind of regret maybe not getting her something for Christmas from this stand, but I was so busy chatting to this lady about knitting shawls that it completely didn't occur to me at the time to buy something. But yeah, some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful goods here. And then next to her was the Weardale Weaver, who had a bunch of hand woven scarves on display, as well as some yarn as well and some other bits and bobs. But it was mostly most of the stand was taken up with her scarves, and she also had a big loom out as well, and she wasn't comfortable for us to film her weaving, but she did let us get some really good shots of her loom that you should see in a minute. I'm planning on learning weaving. It's my next kind of craft to give it a go. I've got a kit waiting for me that I will definitely vlog once I'm ready to give it a go. She really, really, really inspired me, if I'm honest, like seeing her loom all set up. Mine is much smaller than hers, but seeing her loom set up and her beautiful scarves, I have a lot of yarn in my stash, and I think I could make some beautiful things with it from weaving. So yeah, maybe I'll give that a go in my next vlog. Finally, there was a gap at Steffi Glaves' stall. So this stall was probably the busiest, I would say, that I saw it. It was always, always packed with people and you couldn't really get in. So we eventually found a gap to get in. So she specialises in micro crochet. So that's crochet with a 0.75mm hook and thread, and she mainly makes earrings, but she also does some other bits and pieces as well, like necklaces, and she has a book full of all different crochet motifs. I actually follow Steffi Glaves on social media. I've seen quite a lot of her content. She's yeah, I don't think I'm up for micro crochet. I'm not sure I would be able to use such a small hook. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll give it a go at some point. But I really wanted to pick out a pair of crocheted earrings from her. She had some really beautiful ones, but as soon as I saw the offerings that she had, I knew as soon as I saw them, they were the ones I was going to buy, which is good because there was no indecision there. I actually ended up getting some that looked like sunflowers, which is one of my favourite flowers, and I think I'm so excited to wear them. She had dangly earrings and also studs, so I went for a pair of sunflower studs. These ones I've just picked up there, in fact, and I'm so excited to wear them. I'll wear them in my yarn haul at the end of this video to show you what they look like on. So that was all of the stalls in the Sanderson room, and then I popped downstairs to the settle bar because I wanted to see Unwrapped Yarn. So Unwrapped Yarn does laser cut crochet, knitting, accessories, all sorts of things, from stitch markers to colour organisers to gauges. I even bought a little Christmas tree ornament from her last year. So yeah, I knew what I wanted from her, but I will explain it all in my haul at the end of the video because there's a bit of an explanation to do with what I bought. She also had some beautiful, beautiful Christmas stitch markers. I was so tempted by these, but I have quite a few stitch markers and I never seem to get much use out of them at the minute. I'm not sure why. Once we finished with Unwrapped Yarn, we headed out to the courtyard to get some refreshments, and then we set up in the sports hall to have a bit of a break and give my brain a bit of a break before we did some more browsing. So we did have another look around all of the stalls that I missed yesterday. I didn't quite get to see every stall, but I will show you what I did find. So first up is the yarn artist, who has some beautiful yarn inspired by artwork, and also had these gorgeous crocheted blankets at the bottom of their stall that are actually solid granny squares, so similar to the blanket I'm making out of my hand-dyed yarn as well. I really liked their colours. They were very pastel-y, and also these badges did tempt me. I really liked this one that said knitter with the needles running through it. But I did actually end up finding a duck egg yarn from the yarn artist. So if you remember earlier, I said I didn't find one that I thought was suitable for my blanket yesterday, but I did find one today. So they had this section in the corner and they had a bunch of Van Gogh inspired yarn from a few of his different paintings. And the one I actually ended up going for was this one, which is inspired by Almond Blossom, which is one of my favourite pieces of artwork. You can see here the inspiration and the yarn. And then next to it was, I think, Starry Night. So yeah, that was really, really interesting to see yarn inspired by artwork. I've not seen anyone else do that before. So next was Henny Penny Makes, who had so many beautiful mini skeins on display, as well as full skeins as well, in some lovely, beautiful, bright colours. You can see this awesome shot here my brother got of the yarn. And one thing that I really liked about Henny Penny Makes was the mini skein sets. So there were so many different mini skein sets in different colours, and I was so tempted. Do you remember earlier I said I wasn't supposed to be buying any mini skeins? I didn't buy any mini skeins, but I was quite tempted by some of these bright and happy mini skeins, specifically this one, which I think is the Chakra set. I just really liked that it was just a little bit stripy. I just loved how it looked. It's not even like my usual colour palette, but I was tempted, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, so many mini skeins. I really enjoyed Henny Penny Makes' stand because of those lovely bright saturated colours. Another thing I really loved was they had the undyed bases in boxes at the bottom so that you could use them as a contrast colour. It was really lovely actually seeing all of the variety of the bases that they dye on top of. And yeah, having used undyed yarn in my past 2 blankets, I really, really liked seeing that, and it was nice giving them a bit of a squish. And then we had a look around some more yarn as well. So this is Dina's Home of Crafts. I bought some fibre from her at Spring Interwool, and again, I was tempted by mini skeins. Maybe next year at YYF, I set myself a challenge that I can only buy mini skeins. That could be quite fun to see what I can find, and then maybe do like a YYF mini skein blanket or a shawl or something. That could be a lot of fun. I really love this little corner of her yarn as well. And to finish off my YYF experience this year, I headed to the Cotton Pod. So I met Sharon at the Cotton Pod last year at YYF, and she is a crochet designer who's also a Skutpia's yarn stockist. And she creates yarn kits and patterns using the Skutpia's yarn. And she has some beautiful like scarves and bags and all sorts of accessories, hats, shawls, all things made with Skutpia's yarn that you can buy kits for. So when I met Sharon last year, I was really encouraging to her to do some YouTube videos, and she has done some, but she says she's taken a bit of a break from YouTube. So I would really love it if you like my crochet tutorials. Please head over to the Cotton Pod YouTube channel and give her videos some love, give them a watch, give them a like, give her a subscribe, and hopefully we can encourage her to come back, because I think some of her patterns here would make amazing crochet tutorials for the community, and I just think there should be more crochet representation on YouTube. So yeah, I'll pop a link to her channel down below. So from all of her kits, I was actually really tempted by one of her kits, and it was the Pinecone Christmas tree decoration kit. But what I think I might do is buy the pattern separately and then make it with some yarn I have in my stash, because I have so much cotton stash yarn. Drops Paris I've got quite a big stash of, and I think would work really well for this Christmas tree decoration. So if I get a chance to do this before Christmas, I will, but I have a lot of projects that I'm working on right now, so we'll see. So the main thing I wanted to see Sharon for was I wanted to have a look at the Skutpia's whirl yarn. So this is a gradient yarn that comes as a cake, and there's now a couple of different whirls in different like fibres. There's a cotton one, a normal one, and I think one with wool and cotton as well. So I wanted to check out some colours because I have a shawl pattern that's going to probably be coming out next autumn, and I would like to make a sample of it up in one of these whirls. I think it would look really, really beautiful. So she very kindly pulled out her box from underneath, and we had a right rummage to see if there were any colours that were suitable for my shawl. A lot of the colours she had were really lovely, but they were very bright, and I knew that I didn't wear bright colours. I was quite tempted by this one. I think this one was called like Earl Tea Custard, something like that. Yeah, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to give her a message and see if I can get a couple of colours that I think would be a little bit more wearable for me. So with that, we decided to end our time at Yorkshire Yarn Fest, but we did do one more lap just to double check there was anything I missed. I do realise that I missed seeing the spinning and weaving guilds once we got in the car, but never mind, there's always some time in the future. We did a quick photo op outside, and then we headed to the food carts. So outside of YYF each year, there's usually a couple of food carts. I think the ones this year were different to last year, but I'm not entirely sure. But I think this is such a great idea for a yarn festival to get some food carts in. And there was some really good offerings. There was kind of like a coffee and cake stand, an Asian food stand, and a pizza stand. So we had a look to see if we wanted any for our lunch, and I was really not feeling very well at this point. I was really not feeling up to eating. So what I did instead is my brother got some Thai chili loaded fries, and he said they were really, really, really good. Yeah, I wasn't feeling up to eating though. So most of the footage in fact in this vlog was taken by him. He was such a massive help at the Yarn Festival, and I wouldn't have got through it without him. So I finished up at Yorkshire Yarn Fest. We managed to see everything that I wanted to see, and I did manage to find that duck egg yarn. I will film a yarn haul and pop it up at the end of this video because I have bought quite a lot, and not all of it is yarn. I did buy some other bits and pieces as well that I'd love to show you. So I've had a few days to recover, and I'm ready to show you everything that I bought at Yorkshire Yarn Fest. But first, I just want to let you know about another yarny event that I'm attending in a few weeks' time that's happening in Yorkshire. So myself and Jess from Skein and the Stitch, we've arranged with a local restaurant to host a Stitchmas party. So the Stitchmas party is a knitting and crochet themed Christmas party. We're going to be doing all sorts of fun crochet and knitting things. We're both donating lots of yarn and fibre for prizes for the fun and games we have planned. There's going to be a raffle to raise money for Leeds Women's Aid. And there's also going to be a tapas buffet and a free drink included with your ticket. We're not making any profit from this event. We kind of want to build a community local to us of knitters and crocheters that meets kind of every few months to catch up with each other, knit, and yeah, just make some local yarny friends. So the Stitchmas party is on Sunday the 7th of December between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. and tickets cost £15. That includes the tapas buffet and a free drink of your choice. We're going to be giving away prizes for the best handmade Christmas jumper or Christmas outfit. So tickets are limited and you need to get them online through the Eventbrite link I will pop down in the description below. If you're not local to me, so the restaurant is the Caballero Lounge in Leeds, which is right by a junction on the M1. So if you are wanting to travel to our Stitchmas party, it is quite easy to get to because it is right next to the M1 and there is lots of parking there as well. So yeah, I hope I get to meet some of you and make friends with some of you there. I'm going to be bringing along potentially my e-spinner or maybe a crochet project to work on while I get to know you all. So yeah, don't forget to grab your tickets for our Stitchmas party. So let's have a look at what I bought and we'll start with my non-yarn purchases. The first thing is, you might have noticed, I'm wearing those earrings that I bought from Steffi Glaze, so the micro crochet sunflower earrings. I really like them, and I didn't realise this at the time, but the fastening she uses are sterling silver, so that's really good, so that I know these will last me a long time. There is a matching necklace, and I'm having regrets about not getting the matching necklace as well, but maybe I can ask for that for Christmas present, maybe. So yes, that's my crochet earrings. The other thing I got that I mentioned in the vlog as well were these needle stoppers. So these are cute little carrots, and what you do is, as you see, there's some holes there, so you pop those on your needle tips to stop your knitting falling off your needles when you're not working on your project. And I currently have some hedgehog ones that have got quite a big hole, so I'm hoping these will be small enough. I'm hoping the holes will be small enough for some of my smaller gauge projects as well. So yeah, excited to use those. They're so cute. Got some little carrot friends for my next knitting project. The last thing I bought that wasn't yarn was this. So this is a knitting or crochet stitch gauge. So you can see it's got markings down here for 4 inches and markings up here for 10 centimeters, because in a lot of patterns you need to know how many stitches and how many rows per 10 centimeters. So something like this makes it really easy to count your stitches, because you just put this over your swatch and you can count your stitches and count your rows without messing around with a tape measure. So I've wanted one of these for a while, and that is because I am setting myself up a crochet design kit. So I've bought a little bag and I'm going to be putting like hooks and notebook, swatches and all sorts of tools I might need, like this, and a tape measure and stitch markers and potentially some scales as well. So yeah, once I have put together my little crochet design kit, I will do a video about it, because I think it would be good for like any knitter or crocheter to have a little kit with all of your tools in, and I think that might be quite a good thing to share with you all. So that's all of my non-yarn purchases. So let's move on to my yarn purchases, which is kind of the exciting bit that I've been waiting to show you. So we'll start off with the mini skeins that I wasn't supposed to buy, but I was drawn to them twice, so I took that as a sign. So here is my little mini skein set that I got, and I think these are from Beehive Yarn's monthly clubs this past year. Yeah, I really love them, especially these greens over here. They're not, I know that I don't have any minis that are in this green and duck eggy colour, so I'm excited to mix these in with my other minis. In 2026 I really want to do some mini skein projects, as well as a lot of stash busting and scrap projects as well. That's kind of, I'm hoping that will be my theme running through my projects in 2026, is stash busting, mini skeins and scraps. So yeah, so these will be very helpful for that. So the next thing that I want to talk about are these 2 skeins of yarn I bought from Rainbow Heirloom. So this is a beautiful clarity burgundy red colour called Red Delicious, and it's on a base that I have not used before. So it's an Aran weight yarn called Brit Aran, and it's 100% British blue face Leicester wool, and it's 165 meters per 100 gram skein. So I bought these and I immediately thought, oh, I want to make a hat out of those. However, I realised that I already have a burgundy coloured hat that I never wear, so I probably wouldn't get anywhere if I made a hat. So if anybody has any great ideas, or I can use 330 metres of Aran weight yarn, let me know down in the comments, because I need some inspo for this yarn. I really, really love it, and I think this shade of red really does suit me. Maybe a Christmas project. It's quite a Christmassy red. I don't know. We'll see. So before we move on to the yarn that I bought for my blanket, I've got one last purchase. So I purchased a sweater's quantity of yarn. So when I went to Yorkshire Yarn Fest in 2024, it was quite special for me because I did my first kind of collaboration crochet along. I designed the Yorkshire blanket, and that was in 2024 for Yorkshire Yarn Fest. And I also did my first like in-person event. As Meema Makes, as like a business. I gave a talk on the craft night about my designs and did a bit of a Q&A and a meet and greet, and I really loved that, but it was very tiring. And on the second day, unfortunately, we had to leave quite early, and I really wanted to get, like, as a memory of 2024, get a sweater's quantity of yarn and make a really cool jumper or cardigan that I could wear this year to Yorkshire Yarn Fest, but unfortunately we had to leave, so I didn't get it. And I remembered this as I was shopping, and I found some sweaters quantities all bagged up ready to go from Bow Fiddle Yarns, and I had a little rummage and I chose a colour. So I'll show you what I got. I'm so excited to crochet a jumper with this. So these are 5 400-metre skeins, but it's on a different base. It's not like a standard sock yarn base, which is why I'm quite giddy, because it's the base is so soft. So the base is 80% superfine merino and 20% baby camel, and it's so soft, so soft. So it's this semi-solid kind of peachy pale gold colour. It's just really, really yummy. It's not a colour I've seen dyed up very much, and just, I can't express to you how lovely this base is. It's just it feels so luxurious. And also I spoke to, I don't know her name, the lady who dyes as Bow Fiddle yarn, about the base, because it looks to me to be a little thicker than like a standard sock base. It's more like a heavy fingering, almost a sport weight, which I just found really, really interesting. And at the minute, I'm hoping to move into doing some crochet garment designs in 2026. And I have one that I think would be absolutely perfect for this yarn. So yeah, I'm so pleased with this. I'm so pleased with this sweater's quantity of yarn. It's the base. It's so soft. Anyways, yeah, so I've got a total of 2,000 meters of this yarn. So that should be enough for a crocheted cardigan, I hope. Maybe a cropped cardigan. It might be cropped. It might have 3/4 sleeves. We'll see. We'll see how much it takes once I start crocheting with it. Right, let's move on to the main event, which is the yarn that I bought for my crochet blanket. I have all my squares laid out over there because I've been playing around with these colours this morning. I'll pop a photo in, maybe once I've shown you all the colours of kind of my squares next to the colours that I chose at YYF. So we'll start with my favourite yarn. I think this might be my favourite hand-dyed yarn colour of all time. I know that's quite a big thing to say, but it's literally got all of my favourite colours in one yarn. So this is a yarn from Ducky Darlings called Cookie Crumbs. As you can see, it's got my pink, my like pale dusty millennial pink, plus like terracotta-y orange and even some yellows and a little bit of like warm browns. It really doesn't want to focus. There we go. It's so beautiful. It's literally all of my favourite yarn colours in one yarn, and I am going to use this in my blanket, I think. but I'm really tempted to get another sweaters quantity of this yarn for a knitting project, because I don't have a huge amount of sweaters quantity of variegated yarn. This is literally my favourite colour palette. But I've just spent so much money on yarn, I don't think I can justify it. I really don't know. But anyways, it's going into my it is 100% going into my blanket. And that wasn't the only yarn that I bought from Ducky Darling's Yarn. And we're actually like 3 days since I got back from YWF, and I couldn't wait to continue on with my blanket. So I have wound this next yarn that I got from Ducky Darling's up into a cake already, and I've started crocheting some squares with it. So yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't wait to record this, but I really wanted to. So this is the other yarn that I got. So this is the colour Seashell from Ducky Darling's. It's just on both of those yarns, sorry, they're on the standard sock base that they do. It's the 25% merino, 75% merino, 25% nylon. So yeah, it's just this, it's very subtle, semi-solid. The squares definitely look like a solid colour because I'm holding like 2 strands of fingering weight yarn together to make these little squares. So yeah, love that. So that's the other colour that I got, and I think that works really well with my blanket colours. So let's have a look at the other ones that I got. Oh yeah, I want to show you this one. So this is the Van Gogh inspired yarn. I want to show you it close up because I've just finished editing the rest of the vlog, and you don't really see it like close up in the vlog. So yeah, so this is that almond blossom inspired yarn from the Yarn Artist. And it's really lovely. I am a little worried this is a little similar to a colour I've already used in my blanket. Let me just grab that square. So this is Snowbound from Beehive Yarns. It's cream with like teal and green speckles. And I just worry they're a bit similar. A little similar. But I really want to use it in my blanket, so I don't really care if it's similar. But yeah, absolutely. This is probably... I don't know, I really love all of the yarn that I've bought. I was about to say this is probably my second favourite, I'm not sure. I'm just really giddy that I found the right duck egg colour that I wanted. So yeah, that's my next skein from the Yarn Artist. Then, oh yeah, well, let's go back to bow fiddle yarn. So I don't know if I'm going to use this yarn in my blanket. I bought it for my blanket, but since I've got it home and put it with my other colours all spread out, I think it might be a little dark, but it's a really lovely colour that I think would be really beautiful as the contrast colour for a colourwork project. So it's this warm, rich, like chestnutty, purpley brown colour. So nice. It's a semi-solid again, but it's literally a purple with like purple. It's a brown with like purpley undertones. It's really, really yummy. So that's from Bow Fiddle Yarns, but this isn't the camel base. It's the standard sock yarn, the 25% merino, 75% merino, 25% nylon. Standard sock that I'm trying to, I think most of the yarns that I'm using in my blanket are on that kind of like standard sock base. So yeah, that's another purchase from Bow Fiddle Yarns. That's the same as my sweaters quantity. And then yeah, so this one I don't think I'm going to be using this in my own blanket because a lot of the colours I'm using in my blanket are quite muted, so it's a little bright, but I absolutely love this colour. So this is the colour Golden North from Rainbow Heirloom Yarn. How amazing is that? It's a semi-solid, it's this lovely amber gold colour. I absolutely love this. Like I could do a jumper in this colour and love it. I would love a jumper in this colour. I would love it to pieces. I really would. I would wear it all the time. Absolutely love this like golden yellow colour. Not sure how it looks with my colouring though. But yeah, I really, really love this. I don't know whether this will be in my blanket. I'm pretty sure it won't be in my blanket at this point. I think it would make really cool socks though. I don't have any socks this colour. I think it would make cool socks. I think it would make a cool hat. Like maybe a Musselburgh hat. I don't know. I would definitely use this though. Like I'm so pleased with this one actually. And then finally, I've got 2 skeins of yarn from Fruitful Fusion. So there is that Summer Dreams colour that I showed you the sample of in the vlog. So I'll show you that here now. I might like pull, I'm probably going to wind this one up today. So I might take the label off so you can see it in all its glory. So it's this beautiful, like almost purpley mauve pink with like blue and yellow speckles. Like see if I can show you some of these speckles up close, because I am a little bit obsessed with speckles. with yarn. Really love this one. It's very similar to my jumper that I'm wearing. I love this mauvey pink colour, really do. I need to knit a jumper in it at some point. But yeah, so this is going to go in my blanket. I think I made the right decision not getting a sweater's quantity of it, because I have so many sweaters quantities that I need to stash bust and get and actually make them next year, 2026. I need to like just get in the habit of like using up my stash. And then the last skein of yarn I bought was also from Fruitful Fusion, and this is the colour Yellow Gold, but it's very much to me like a light green. It's a light yellowy green, and I think it really pairs well with, I'll show you this square. So this is the colour Khakis from Beehive Yarns. I think they pair really well together. And I think that'll be a really nice like relief from the other colours that I'm using on my blanket. It's a little bit more of a contrast compared to the warmer colours. It's basically all the other colours are like neutrals, pinks, golds and teals. So I think this is like a good contrast. I like to have some contrast when I crochet a blanket. I think it makes it pop. So yeah, really, really love those two. This is a semi-solid, I think, but there is quite a lot of like colour variation. Like that part is almost pink. You can see there, it's almost got pink bits in. So yeah, so that's my yarn haul from YYF. Hopefully I'll have some more vlogs to upload to YouTube soon. If you've enjoyed this video, you will probably enjoy the videos I'll pop up on your screen here. I'll see you again next week for another video.